This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Program is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, I think we know that, and we have established this for a long period of time. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Thursday, April the 16th of 2026. And we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big, streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Yesterday was tax day, so hopefully you were able to survive that thing, because, I will tell you, it is a cluster of a cluster for most people. Now, I kind of looked at something. We had some issues going on yesterday. I'm not going to lie about this. So this caused me to do a disappearance act, which I do not like doing. But no, it was not tax-related issues, just in case. Just for verification purposes. My tax issues have not been true, just in case if that was what was being circulated around there. So anyways, how have you been? I hope everything is good. I hope everything is grand. I hope everything is as good as you want it to be, because that always becomes a thing as we are talking. Okay, so let me tell you real quick about what we have going on today, because it's always some interesting stuff as we go through the whole system of things. So our show consists of safety in the news and safety. Just in case if you're not aware, I always like to make reference to that. Some people get pissed off
that I repeated too much.
But the reason that I repeated, just in case you did not know. So when we go through everything, I have some professional broadcasters that come in. They will talk a little bit about what the hell's going on. And then we kind of move forward from there. And then if you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com will do the trick. So as it's still early in the morning, and I'm not sure if you're at work yet, I need to reference this real quick. Today is National Wear Your Pajamas to Work Day. This day allows you to reprieve after a meeting a late night deadline and shuffling receipts and adding columns to file your taxes. So, it is perfectly acceptable to wear your pajamas to work day. So wear your pajamas if you want to. Hopefully you don't get in too much trouble, and hopefully it's something that it's celebrated. Duh. Because if it's not, then it becomes an issue. So there you go. Okay, so with that being said, let's kind of do this. If you want to interact with the show, callinradio.com, audio, video, text messaging, that's the way that it works. And then outside of that, our professional broadcasters will take you down the path of everything that is going on. And then I will give you a versionality of a main story. And then we kind of go from there. And if you're good with that, then we're kind of good with everything. And then we kind of move forward with everything else that is going on. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this, and we're able to hang on and do all kinds of interesting things. So with that being said, I do have my friends from Featured Story News that are waiting in the wing to talk to you a little bit about what the hell is going on inside of the world of everything going on. So here we go. Here's the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in New Delhi, I'm Neha Punia. The White House says U.S. officials feel good about the prospects of a deal with Iran. At a press briefing, Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the U.S. had not formally agreed to an extension of the current ceasefire after President Donald Trump said he didn't think it would be necessary.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirmed that there has been no formal request from the United States to extend the ceasefire, which is due to run out next week. She did, however, say that there are still conversations going on in the background, which she called productive and ongoing, to try and achieve a negotiated peace. She said that the White House feels good about the prospects of a deal, and said that the second round of direct talks with Iran is very likely to once again take place in Islamabad. It follows comments from the president in which Donald Trump said that the war with Iran could be over very soon, saying he's expecting an amazing 2 days ahead. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
Meanwhile, Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir is in Tehran, carrying what Iranian state media are describing as a new message from Washington. He met Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi on Wednesday, and discussions are expected to continue today as well. Hira Mustafa is in Islamabad.
In this whole scenario, the role of the country's army chief is pivotal. He's someone who's in good terms and is deeply trusted by the current U.S. administration, primarily by the U.S. President Donald Trump, who on multiple occasions has praised him and called him his favorite field marshal. He's considered the most powerful man in the country and someone who is spearheading the effort to subside the tensions between Iran and Washington. He's not only trusted by the U.S. leadership, but also by the Iranians. We are hearing from the analysts in the capital the way he was greeted by the Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi signals that the Iranian leadership trust his efforts to subside the tensions between Iran and Washington. He rarely makes such visits, and if he does, these visits are not made public.
Pop star Katy Perry has been accused of sexual assault by an Australian actor regarding an incident allegedly occurring 15 years ago. Katy Perry's team has labelled the allegations reckless lies.
Australian actor Ruby Rose, known for shows like Orange is the New Black and Batwoman, posted a series of messages on the platform Threads which have now been deleted. She wrote, "Katy Perry sexually assaulted me at Spice Market nightclub in Melbourne. I was only in my early 20s. I'm now 40. It has taken almost 2 decades to say this publicly." In a statement, Katy Perry's team has said the allegations being circulated on social media by Ruby Rose about Katy Perry are not only categorically false, they are dangerous, reckless lies. The statement read, "Ms. Rose has a well-documented history of making serious public allegations on social media," which McCann, New York.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the voice of a Republican strategist who has broken with President Trump over his war on Iran and his rhetorical war with the Pope. Nora Lee Knotson is herself a Roman Catholic.
His threats to annihilate an entire civilization of 90 million people that the Pope rightly spoke out against as unacceptable, it is an embarrassment to Americans like myself who voted for him, not only as a Catholic, but he has abandoned his voters. And he recently said he's delivered on the promises that he made to his voters. Well, he is lying. He had said no new wars, and he got us into a war that I believe as a Republican was an illegal war. And the Pope has spoken about the gospel being a message of peace, being a message of using dialogue. And what have we seen from our president is when there is diplomacy and we're trying to put a deal together with Iran, we go and we strike. And the real debate here is about peace, not using war to try to bring about peace in the region. It is going to only end up worse for the entire world.
Trump won the Catholic vote in 2024 by a margin of 12%. Today, 52% of Roman Catholic voters say they disapprove of his presidency. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. The White House says U.S. officials feel good about the prospects of a deal with Iran. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said the U.S. had not formally agreed to an extension of the current ceasefire after President Donald Trump said he didn't think it would be necessary. Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir is in Tehran carrying what Iranian state media are describing as a new message from Washington. And that is the latest feature story news. Neha Punia reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm, because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
You've seen the loop. You've felt the shift. The script doesn't fit anymore, and neither do you. Safety transmission. The collapse of the construct is the third and final signal in the trilogy from Jay Allen, PhD. And this time, it's not about waking up. It's about what you do once you're awake. The system didn't break. It just stopped pretending to hold you. And now it's blinking, rebranding presence, packaging resistance, and calling it progress. This book isn't a guide. It's a transmission. It doesn't teach the system how to evolve. It shows you how to stop performing for it. You'll see what happens when awareness becomes responsibility, when audits don't listen, and when leadership becomes a loop. But if you've made it this far, you're not here to be managed. You're here to carry signal, safety transmission, The Collapse of the Construct. Now available in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by J. Allen, PhD. Because if it couldn't hold your signal, it was never real to begin with.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Oh, I didn't hit it.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
I hate when I think that I do something and then I don't do it. Like, I think I had that magical button that didn't exist. I was like, hey, clip, and it did not occur. Anyways, let's talk about this because I tend to forget to talk about this. You are aware that this is a radio show that is on a podcast network, and also we do some video. Just want to throw that out because it is confusing to some. And the reason that I bring this up is for the following reason. So we broadcast on safetyfm.com, on radiobig.fm, and then we come across the multiverse on the video streams and on the audio streams. And let me kind of make sure that I reference this. We are on iHeartRadio. We are on Odyssey. We are on Live 365. You kind of name it and we're there. But we're also on the social media interwebs. It becomes a cluster in where we're at. And normally hour one, which is this hour that we're in right now, is the only one we put into a podcast format. And then from that particular point, we move forward and do some other things. It's kind of how it goes. It's kind of the way that we do things. So cool. I just wanted to reference that because I think it becomes confusing sometimes what the hell we have going on. So this is essentially a 3-hour show. It's only the first hour that we put into a podcast format. And by the way, I want to reference this because I think it's interesting. I had a company recently, a pretty big, we'll say a politically leaning company. That's probably the best way to put it. Wanting us to sign an exclusive deal with them. Listen, I appreciate the offer. I think it's great. But then I kind of feel like we're limited to only being on one platform. And I don't know if I really want to do that. Because we did that for a while on Safety FM. And I thought it became strange that you had to only watch the video on our website. And I was like, nah, that ain't going to work. So that I don't know if we'll be doing exclusive anything. Sorry about going off on a tangent there. But let's talk about some other things. A woman in Northern Ireland says that weight loss injections left her with a black tongue, severe abdominal pain, and ultimately cost her gallbladder. Sarah Jane Crawford, 32, said that she started taking Wegovy in August of 2024 to slim down before her wedding after 12 weeks and hundreds of pounds spent increasing her dosage. So not the pounds, it's talking about money here. She suddenly developed a sharp upper abdominal pain, constant vomiting, and sulfur-smelling burps, and woke up one morning to find that her entire tongue jet black. Alarmed, she went to the hospital where scans revealed that multiple gallstones were blocking her bile duct and diverticulitis. Doctors told her to stop the injections immediately. In February of 2025, she underwent surgery to have her gallbladder removed. Her tongue eventually returned to normal after stopping the medication, but she says that she still is baffled by the black tongue symptoms and wants to warn others about the potential risk of weight loss injections. But here's a question, and I'm just asking here. I thought Wegovy was not for weight loss. I thought like those GLP-1 things were for treating diabetes, and they do have a benefit of weight loss when it's all said and done. That's kind of like the whole thing with Viagra. I don't know if you're aware of this, but originally it was supposed to be like a heart pill, and then they realized that they were giving dudes erections. So they were like, hey, we might have something here. A magic in a bottle. So what do you think? It becomes a weird world. So she wanted to slim down for her wedding, not show up with a tongue that matched the tuxedo. So I don't know. Kind of a weird world as we are the thing here. So there you go. There you go. Take a listen to this one real quick, because this was happening. A 21-year-old MC from Texas, Farah Adubaku. The man seen in a viral video doing pull-ups on a pipe inside of the George Mason University parking garage. The same pipe that burst moments later and flooded the area. He told Inside Edition Digital that his heart dropped when it happened and it wasn't intentional. Fawaz, who was in D.C. area for a conference, says that he's taking full responsibility and has apologized and has agreed to pay for the damages, which started out as a night of fun, turned into a clip shared nationwide. You know you messed up when your workout routine requires a plumber. Just depends. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of that particular world as we are talking. Okay, let's continue looking around about some other things as we are talking real quick. So take a listen to this. A home in California had a terrifying surprise when a large dirt-covered chunk of ice crashed through the roof, blasted through the ceiling, and landed right into the living room couch. Los Angeles County Supervisor Janice Hahn says that the data shows that a plane was overhead at the time, and calling the FAA for investigation to confirm that the ice fell from the aircraft. Resident Yodur Gra said that the impact sounded like an explosion. The homeowner, Tanya Manga, is keeping the foul-smelling ice bagged and frozen until the officials can identify it. She says that she wanted to know what it's made of, whether it's dangerous or why it fell, especially since planes fly over the house constantly, and the whole situation is now scary. That's the first time that a couch has ever needed both upholstery cleaning and hazmat team. So here's my question. I thought that they de-ice planes before the takeoff. I mean, that's just one of those things. So is it really one of those issues, or is it something else? So there you go. Okay, take a listen to this one. A Michigan man discovered that he'd been sitting on a $100,000 winning lottery ticket for nearly 5 months, and it was tucked away in a box the whole time. Perry Pendleton of Maybe, Michigan, brought several Michigan lottery tickets, raffle tickets, last fall, and stored them for safekeeping, planning to check them later. When he finally got around to scanning them, one ticket showed a $100 win and another popped up with a $100,000 winner. Pendleton said that he checked 3 or 4 more times because he couldn't believe it. The winning ticket number was 071820. He even told family members about the win on April Fool's Day, so he's not entirely sure they believed him. But that's what they're about to find out that it's real. Pendleton says that he plans to save some, share some, and then spend some of his winnings in that order. So there you go. I guess you do what you can with some of this stuff. Okay, take a listen to this. A viral clip of a Warsaw show. An AI-powered humanoid robot chasing a herd of wild boars, sparking both laughter and concern online. The video features a Unitree G1 robot nicknamed Edward Warchalky, jogging after the pigs across a parking lot before dramatically raising his fist, and then when the animals outrun it. The moment racked up millions of views and had people joking about the future of robots and doubled as boar header. But the stunt wasn't actually part of the city plan to control Europe's growing wild boar problem. It was a promotional bit for Warchowski, a popular robot influencer in Poland known for performing human-like antics, from singing on stage to chasing marathon runners and even visiting the parliament. The U.S. has its own viral version. It's called Jack Risbot, another Unitree G1 known as chaotic internet stunts, and even sparking controversies after being assaulted by streamers iShow Speed, leading to a lawsuit. Despite the humor, Unitree robots have had real-world malfunctions, including kicking its handler and another accidentally slapping a child during a demo. The experts warn that as that humanoid robots become more common in public, these glitches could signal bigger safety concerns on the road. So there you go. What do you think here? I mean, I think the whole humanoid thing is kind of cool. I mean, I'm not going to lie. In regards to what they would do in the future, not saying that it will be Rosie from the Jetsons, but it's one of those things that we can take a look at and see how the world will continue to change. Now, here's the odd part. If you have watched the movie called The Animatrix, not The Matrix, but The Animatrix, which is the animation version of The Matrix, you see some of the things that end up happening. And it's a cartoon, don't get me wrong. But as they show that humanoids take over, they do refer to it as some level of AI. I don't understand. I mean, could it be something that it goes that severe, or is it one of those things that you go, it's not going to get that crazy, but it's something to take a look at as we move forward. So what do you think here? It's definitely some interesting times. I mean, would you put a humanoid inside of your house, or do you look at it and go, there's no way in hell that I would do that? But think about this. If it can do certain things, wash dishes, take out the trash, light dusting, is it something you would give consideration to? Seriously. No, like seriously.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so I guess let's get into some serious stuff because I've been joking around about other things and we haven't got into the serious side of stuff. Donald Trump announced yesterday that the Strait is permanently open, claiming that he reached a secret understanding with China's president in which China had agreed to stop sending weapons to Iran. Trump made a declaration on Truth Social, adding that the president will give him a big fat hug during an upcoming meeting and saying that China is very happy about the move. The announcement comes days after the U.S.-Iran peace talks collapsed, prompting Trump to order a naval blockade to the Strait. A critical choke point that roughly has 20% of the world's oil. Yes, I think we fucking talk about that every single time that we mention it. The blockade was intended to pressure Tehran back into negotiations while avoiding a return to large-scale airstrikes. It remains unclear whether Trump meant the Strait is immediately open to commercial traffic or whether he was signaling a long-term resolution as talks continue. So there you go. There you go. So a lot of stuff going on there. So are you ready for this? Because I think we should talk about it. A group of 6 U.S. senators is urging a federal judge in the Southern District of New York to closely scrutinize the Department of Justice proposed settlement with Live Nation and Ticketmaster. In a letter to the court, the senators argue that the deal fails to restore competition or protect fans, artists, or independent venues. They say that Live Nation Ticketmaster's dominance has harmed consumers for years, and the proposed settlement stops far short of the opening of the industry's real competition. The letter was signed by quite a few senators here referencing this. The senators also raised concerns about how the settlement came together, pointing at the removal of the top DOJ antitrust officials, previous firing of her aides, and report of political interference and limited transparency. They say that these circumstances suggest that the agreement may have been made shaped by political pressure rather than public interest. Amy Klobuchar recently introduced the Antitrust Accountability and Transparency Act, aimed at the strengthening oversight of the antitrust settlement to ensure that they protect consumers, workers, and small businesses. So what do you think here? Now, seriously, what do you think here? So let me kind of go a little bit further in kind of explaining this one, because this might be important. A judge has ruled that Live Nation, the parent company of Ticketmaster, is liable for operating as a monopoly in a major decision that could reshape an entire live music industry. After weeks-long trial featuring testimony from top executive and industry insiders, jurors found that Live Nation used its power to squeeze competitors, pressure venues into using Ticketmasters, and drive ticket costs up for fans. The case stems from the 2024 lawsuit that filed by the DOJ in nearly 40 states. Although the DOJ later reached a separate settlement with Live Nation, more than 30 states continue to fight on with their own, leading to this verdict. Jurors determined that Live Nation Ticketmaster overcharged fans the average of $1.72 per ticket at certain venues over the last 5 years. Yeah, $1.72. Live Nation disputes the ruling, says that it will challenge the verdict and appeal as an unfavorable decision. This also reveals that internal message that Live Nation employees bragging about gouging fans on fees, messages CEO called disgusting. Now, the big question is what is the penalty that the judge will impose? States have the power to seek major remedies under the antitrust laws, including potential breaking up Live Nation and Ticketmaster, the very outcome the DOJ originally wanted. The judge will now decide what happens next and whether the ruling leads to the most significant shakeup in live entertainment in decades. So there you go. Some things to talk about there. No doubt about that. Okay, so take a listen to this. Don Lemon is teasing a presidential run wasn't just a one moment to drive a podcast views.
Duh.
He thinks that he's got a real chance. Reiterated Sherry Shepard that he's entertaining the possibility. The former CNN news anchor appeared on the Actress Talk Show yesterday, and she asked him about his recent views on Pod Save America, in which he said he might run and could run this country better than Donald Trump. Sherry is fully on board with the idea, telling Lemon that he seems like a person that she could totally imagine running for president. He says, why not? As if, why not him? Take a listen to this.
The Lemonheads want you to run for president.
They do. Look, I'm not saying that I'm going to do it, but why not? My parents taught me growing up that I could be anything that I wanted.
Absolutely.
And so if Donald Trump could be president, why can't I be president? So I might do it. Who knows?
Okay. So, I mean, running for president, being president are totally two separate things. You still have to win the damn thing before you can do that. So there's some thoughts there as we are talking. So take a listen to this. Talking about the president's new economist YouGov poll shows that most Americans do not support the idea of putting Donald Trump's name on the U.S. paper currency. A plan the Treasury Department announced in March as a part of the nation's upcoming 250th anniversary. According to the poll, 59% of respondents say that they are somewhat strongly disapprove of adding Trump's signature to the U.S. bills. 24% approve, 18% are undecided. The breakdown shows a sharp partisan divide. 92% of partisan divide of Democrats, 65% of independents, and 20% of Republicans say they disapprove. Axios noted similar YouGov poll from 2 weeks earlier found that nearly identical results. The Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has described the move as a tribute to both the country and the president, calling it a redesigned bill to a historic currency. So there you go. So I'm going to tell you this. How often do you look at currency is the first question. And then number two, aren't most people just using cards anyway? So are you really going to notice it one way or the other? I'm just asking because I want to have a better understanding because, I'm sometimes Looney Tunes here when it comes to things. So there you go. Some stuff to always talk about. 32 minutes past the top of the hour.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Oh, yes. It's 32 minutes past the top of the hour. So what does it mean? It's time for the main story, and today we're going to talk about communication. No, seriously, we're going to talk about communication, specifically toxic, condescending, absolutely delusional ways that management communicates with the people who actually do the physical, dangerous, kinetic work in the world. We talk a lot on this show about simulation. We talk about the black iron prison, the corporate matrix, and the illusion that leadership builds to convince themselves as they are in control. Well, I had a message forwarded to me this week, and someone from the audience leaked this to the show. And it was an internal memo. It was an email sent out by a facility manager to the entire floor staff, operators, maintenance, supervisors, everybody, prepping them for a visit. A high-level corporate consultant and some executives were coming down to do a site walk and run a safety session. I want to read this to you verbatim, as I have scrubbed the names of the specific industry to protect the innocent, but the text is 100% real. So listen to how this manager speaks to the workforce. Hi, everyone. As we prepare for our corporate guest visit, I want to be very clear about behavior expectation. Some of you will be in groups with personnel you may not know, or particularly care for. That does not matter. We will treat everyone with respect. There will be no rude comments, no eye rolling, no dirty looks, no disrespectful body language, and no unkind behavior of any kind. This includes all personnel, including shift supervisors and contractors as well. Any embarrassing or negative behavior will not be tolerated and will result in immediate removal from the session. We are here to learn and represent our facility with professionalism and maturity. Our guest deserves our full focus and cooperation. Let's rise to that standard and make a strong impression. End quote. So I want to let that sink in for a minute and let it marinate for you. When I first read this, I actually had to laugh because I thought I was reading an email from a middle school principal prepping a group of 6th graders for a field trip to the local petting zoo. No eye rolling, no dirty looks. Be on your best behavior or I'm putting you in timeout. But this wasn't sent to children. This was sent to grown adults. These are men and women who wake up at 4 a.m. They work 12 hours, a 12-hour turnaround, and they operate heavy machinery that can crush human beings in a fraction of a second. They work at a 480-volt electrical lines, hazardous chemicals, and high-pressure STEM. They are the lifeblood of the supply chain. They hold the line between normal Tuesday and a catastrophic fatality. And the facility manager is emailing them, threatening them with immediate removal if they give a dirty look. This right here is the absolute peak of managerial brio. It is the infantilization of the workforce. And if you are a safety professional or a leader of any kind and you think that this is an effective way to communicate, I am here to give you the rated R truth. Your culture is already dead. It's fucking dead. Let's just be realistic. Let's break down the psychology of this memo because it gives away the entire game. Why does a manager write an email like this? Because they are terrified. They are dripping with insecurity. They are absolutely no organic control over the culture of their facility, and they know it. They know that the frontline workers are exhausted. They know that the current safety initiatives are out of touch. And they know that the system is broken. So instead of fixing the system, they try to mandate compliance by giving people threats. They put on the mask of authority. Notice the last lines of the emails. We are here to represent our facility. Let's make a strong impression. That's right there. That exact definition of theater of surprise. It proves that the entire corporate visit has absolutely nothing to do with learning and it has nothing to do with keeping workers safe. It is 100% about corporate optics. This manager is terrified that the frontline workers might accidentally show the corporate suits what actually reality on the floor looks like. So they demand that everyone put on a smile and act like little compliant robots. Duh. But let's tie that back to human and organizational performance because there is a massive lesson here about decoding the signal. In this email, the manager specifically outlaws eye rolling and disrespectful body language. Here is what the manager fundamentally misunderstands about human behavior. Body language is a trailing indicator. Eye rolling is field data. If a corporate suit stands in front of the room of a veteran operators and rolls out a shiny new behavior-based safety bingo game and tells them just pay more attention to hazards that management has refused to fix over the last 3 years, and a guy in the back row rolls his eyes, the eye roll is not the problem. The eye roll is the signal. Is the workers' communication that is being said does not match the physical reality of the work as done? It means that the initiative is stupid. It means that you are completely disconnected from the kinetic reality of the floor. When you threaten to punish workers for rolling their eyes, you are literally threatening them to giving you real life feedback. You are blinding yourself to the truth because your ego is too fragile to handle it. You cannot mandate respect. You cannot threaten the workforce into having a good body language. Respect is a byproduct of competence, empathy, and shared reality. If you have threatened a grown man who runs a multi-million-dollar production line and you will kick him out of the session, if he makes any unkind face, you have completely lost the plot. Go ahead and kick them out. See how well the facility runs when people who actually know how to turn the wrenches decide to let you run it by yourself. Like, seriously. So how do we fix this? How does a leader, someone who actually carries signal, handle a corporate visit? You deploy JKD or Jeet Kune Do. You strip away the useless illusion. You drop the kindergarten teacher routine, and you treat your people like the adults that they are, or should I say the hardened adults that they are. Instead of sending a threatening emails, you walk onto the floor, you stand in front of your crew, and you tell them about the unvarnished truth. You say, listen up, corporate is sending a consultant down here tomorrow, and I know we're busy. I know that you're tired, and I know that the real life fires are out there to put out. But this is the game that we have to play. Let's get in the room. Let's hear the guy out. If he has something useful that we can actually keep to use to keep us safe, let's do that. We'll take it. If he's here just spouting corporate buzzwords or pushing plastic tools, well, let it slide right off our backs and we'll go back to work. But we go there instead with, a united front instead of some other bullshit.
Duh.
Adult conversation, mutual respect, and acknowledging the shared reality of the Black Iron Prison. When, and I say when, you treat the workforce like adults, they will respond like adults. When you treat them like unruly children who need to be threatened with a timeout for giving dirty looks, they will treat the entire safety program like it's a fucking joke. And that's not a joke as I say that out loud. So stop managing optics and start managing the reality. Do not be the manager who is more worried about eye roll than a bypass safeguard. Read the room, decode the body language, find out why they are rolling their eyes in the first place, and fix the damn system. Keep your head on the swivel and don't let the corporate theater make you forget who is actually doing the work. Because I think that sometimes people tend to forget that inside of some organizations. And let's just keep it all realistic when it's all said and done.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
I know you all want to hit your revenue targets and get the launch done. Well, making sure that your team knows what to do and how to do it is a huge part of it. So I'm sure that you all do different kinds of training, and I'm willing to bet that you probably use PowerPoint, Zoom, etc. I also bet that when you get someone droning on about a topic using these tools, you probably zone out. And your team does too. I mean, it is a reality of what happens. That's why I strongly recommend a tool called Articulate 360. That makes it so easy to whip together interactive, really beautiful e-learnings that really engages people and gets info across. You can create short-form micro-learning, super interactive courses, and really whatever you need when you're in their site. Then with a couple of clicks, you can send it out and check on it and see the progress of your team. Your team can also check back on the training anytime they want in a super simple portal. Literally everyone uses Articulate. Over 120,000 companies and all 100 Fortune 100 companies. Check it out at articulate.com/360 to start a free trial. That's articulate.com/360 to start your free trial. And don't forget to tell them that I was the one that sent you there.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef-prepared, dietitian-approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Our station is so big that you don't have to do much to make it work for you. Radio Big.
Okay, here we are. 46 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show, doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. So this right here that you're taking a listen to, this is Cabrio. Song's called The Other Side. Song's readily available on YouTube Music, Apple Music, Spotify, and Pandora. So there you go. Always a fun time as we are getting to hang out and take a listen to some new music. I would say give it a little streamer-eamer action. Because you know me, I like playing the new music as we get the chance to. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff going on. So there you go. There you go. There you go. What do you think here? A lot of things. So there you go. Okay, so with that being said, let's get into the move and the groove of things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse. And if anything, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help, and we want you to know that people have been where you are now and that healing is possible and that things can get better. So to find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there's going to be all kinds of information for you related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Seriously, it can change everything for you just by going to that particular website. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Listen, go there, take a look around, see what information you can use, and go from there. I can tell you, you go to that website, it can change your life or potentially change somebody else's. You never know what exactly may happen there. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. Okay, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the multiverse. I'm super excited about this because this is something entirely different that we've never done before. But on July the 13th in Orlando, which is a Monday, we're going to be hanging out doing some stuff at a movie theater. So we're going to be talking about reality shifts, an observational symposium taking place in Orlando, Florida on July the 13th. You're going to be hanging out with the likes of Nick Weatherly, Todd Conklin, and myself as we are talking about behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, and then we will kind of going into what we call Signal Trilogy. So there you go. So if you want to come and hang out with us, movie theater, we're going to watch a movie/documentary also at the same time too. So we'd love to see you there. All you have to do is scan the little QR code that's on the screen or go to safetyfm.io. That's safetyfm.io to kind of get that moving and grooving for you. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the multiverse. It's definitely going to be a different experience, like I said, because we are doing it at a movie theater, not a hotel ballroom this time around. So we'll take a look and see exactly what the hell is happening right there. Okay, so with that being said, let's continue going down the level of the multiverse, because that is kind of what we do. I do have John Small waiting in the wing to talk real quick about what the hell is going on with the Motivation Minute. So if you're good to go with this, I'm good to go with this. Here's some John Small coming your way.
Courtesy of JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Kenneth. George Orwell said, "The further a society drifts from the truth, the more it will hate those who speak it." This, by the way, is an excerpt from his book, 1984. That book predicted what the future would be. Some think it was pretty close to how we are these days. I'm not quite sure that we're that far, but we're closer than we probably should be. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think social media has been the root of much of this. You never know what to believe online. Anyone with a keyboard and an opinion can now be a journalist. I'm not saying that you can't be. You absolutely can. But there are no regulations anymore. Not that it was ever super regulated before. But there was journalistic integrity that was needed. And if they broke that, they lost your trust. It happened many times. And the news people let us down. But now anybody can be the news. That's kind of scary. The Motivation Minute. This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
In the Middle East, Israel and Lebanon have agreed to begin direct peace talks in Washington while cross-border strikes rattle the border region.
American and Israeli officials described the new round of talks as a chance to tie down an Iranian-backed Hezbollah militia that has launched repeated rocket attacks into northern Israel. Beirut's government says it wants to preserve Lebanon's stability while distancing itself from Tehran's military grip. Benjamin Wright reporting.
In the Midwest, violent storms have killed at least one person and injured several others as tornado-prone conditions swept across the plains and lower Great Lakes.
Emergency crews responded to collapsed barns, downed power lines, and flipped vehicles in rural counties from Oklahoma through Nebraska and into Illinois, where local authorities canceled school buses and outdoor events. Kyle Norris reporting.
On the domestic front, federal prosecutors have launched a fresh investigation into a Florida doctor accused of removing a patient's liver instead of his spleen during a routine surgery 2 years ago.
The grand jury indictment alleges that the surgeon failed to correctly identify the organs on imaging scans and did not pause the operation when colleagues raised concerns in the operating room. The patient survived the botched surgery, but now faces long-term health problems and possible organ transplant needs. Jessica Oakley reporting.
Rome's defense ministry says the convoy was carrying peacekeepers and that one vehicle was damaged by the shots, prompting a diplomatic protest summoned at Jerusalem's embassy.
Italy's prime minister has insisted that the move is temporary and aims to pressure Israel to avoid further clashes with UN troops, while Israel has called the incident a misunderstood safety drill near the border. Gary Beck reporting.
In Washington, President Donald Trump has told top officials that China's President Xi Jinping has agreed not to send weapons to Iran, even as Beijing denies any such deal.
Trump told aides that he expects a formal pledge from Beijing within days, and that oil markets would likely calm if China truly stops arming Tehran. But White House advisors are privately urging caution. U.S. intelligence agencies have reported that Chinese-linked shipments have still flowed into the Persian Gulf, complicating the president's claims. Lawrence Keller reporting.
U.S.-led naval forces have steadied a tight blockade on Iranian-bound ship traffic in the Strait of Hormuz as Washington and Tehran trade warnings about fuel supplies and military readiness.
The U.S. Navy and allied ships have turned away or rerouted dozens of freighters and tankers in the past several days, driving up global oil futures prices and tightening fuel cost fears around the world. Defense officials say the blockade aims to cut off arms and fuel to Iranian forces. Chris Anderson reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
Okay, so let's start talking right away about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 1900, the U.S. Post Office issues the first book of postage stamps. Also in 1956, the first solar-powered radios go on sale. In 1962, Walter Cronkite begins anchoring CBS Evening News. In 1987, FCC imposes a broader definition of indecency over the airwaves. Hey now. Okay. In 1987, Michael Jordan becomes the second NBA player to score 3,000 points in a season, and that's pretty much everything that we're going to cover about that. Let's talk about some celebrity birthdays going on today. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar turned 79, Ellen Barkin 72, Jimmy Osmond 63, John Cryer 61, and Martin Lawrence turned 61 as well. Let's talk about some things that you ought to know. McDonald's is jumping into exploring energy drink market with a new Red Bull Dragonberry Energizer. It's the first partnership with Red Bull, and even as a backlash grows over the highly caffeinated drinks linked to health risk and multiple deaths, the move comes as other chains have stumbled into the space, most notably Panera, whose charged lemonade has pulled after the lawsuits and reported that the drink contributed to customers' death. McDonald's is betting on a booming demand for energy drinks outweighs the controversy, posing a new Red Bull item into the entry of the massive fast-growing category. So there you go. What else do we got? President Trump said that the administration does not plan to end the Department of Justice investigation involving the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. Trump also reported that he may fire Powell if Powell remains in the role past mid-May. Trump has nominated former Federal Reserve Governor Kevin Warsh to replace Powell. Powell has said that he would stay on temporary if Warsh is not confirmed before May the 15th, and then the date that Powell's term as chair officially ends. In a new interview with Fox Business, Trump said that if Powell doesn't leave on schedule, then I'll have to fire him, adding that he has held back from doing so previously because he wanted to avoid controversy. So there you go. Also, a huge stretch of the country is heating up earlier than normal, and officials in Washington, D.C. and North Carolina are warning people to take precaution over the next couple of days as temperatures climb into the mid-90s. More than 20 states are in the path of the unusual early heat surge, from Massachusetts to New York down to Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi, with many cities expected to hit the high 80s and 90s all the way through tomorrow. The Trump administration is holding early discussions with major U.S. automakers and manufacturers about potentially increasing their production of weapons and military equipment. According to reports, the Wall Street Journal, senior officials of the Department of War have spoken to General Motors CEO and Ford CEO, as well as the leaders of GE Aerospace, which makes military vehicles and machinery. Seriously, as I say this. And these conversations are described as preliminary and wide-ranging. The Pentagon officials say that the Daily Mail, the department is focused on rapidly expanding the defense industry based on using commercial technology and manufacturing capacity to support the U.S. military needs. So there you go. So a lot of stuff going on right there. Anyways, that's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I will be going over to radiobig.fm for the next couple hours or so, talking about the world of music and entertainment if you want to come over there and hang out with me for the next couple hours. If you don't, that's perfectly fine. You can hang out here with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he is talking about the world of safety consulting. So thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener, because without you, it makes no sense to do what we do around here. If I can't leave you with some words of wisdom, study while others are sleeping, work while others are loafing, and prepare while others are playing, and dream while others are wishing. If I can leave you with a tidbit of advice, use clear shower curtain rings to hang scarves, belts, and hats. Zero clutter, maximum visibility. Something to think about. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios. as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.